What's up, guys? And hi, guys, welcome to the channel again. Been a long time coming because a lot of stuff has happened ever since this year began. And for those of you who have followed the podcast more especially, then you know that I've been in the process of traveling back to Uganda, where I'm supposed to go and have my internship. It's been amazing, it's been great, it's been an awesome journey ever since we left. But I just wanted to start this episode here by briefly speaking about this whole process of like me moving from Denmark and back to Uganda, where I'm going to be living for the next 6 months. It's been quite an experience, and right about last year in June, I think we decided that we had to move to Uganda, where I could come and do my internship. And it was so beautiful, such a great moment when that decision was made. It was overwhelming, it was a little bit challenging, because then we didn't really know what are we going to do, how are we going to get everything done, how do we settle the life that we've been living in Denmark, how do we even try to move to Uganda after not living in Uganda for the last 10 years. But for me, it was something that I really wanted to do, that I've always wanted to do, and this was a chance for me to move back to Uganda without being constrained by things like work and family and all that. As many of you know, I got kids back in Denmark, and it was one of the most challenging parts of this decision making was, how do I live away from them from 6 months, and how do I even try to not see them, you know, every other second day and stuff like that, because they are from my previous relationship. So we have joint custody where I get to see them every second week, every second weekend, and then every Wednesday and Thursday I get to see them. So how was I going to live without me having to get all of that? And it was something that I had to discuss with their mother, and we sat down and we discussed, how do we do this? How do we even tell them? Because it can be challenging a little bit sometimes for kids, especially when they're very young, because they don't know what 6 months means, or what traveling away and not seeing your parents for a very long time is going to feel like. So we had to figure out like how to tell them and how to briefly inform them how what type of relationship we're going to have, how would we communicate, and how would we try to make sure that we still maintain the same relationship that we had. So that took us quite some time, because we had to be sure that whatever we were going to tell them was something that they could believe in, something they could see, and something they could totally understand, without me just coming and breaking the news and just be like, hey, I'm going to Uganda and I'll be away for 6 months, and that was it. So that eventually happened. We told them, and I think they understood. It's been amazing right now here in Uganda, because we do communicate at least every other day, or every second day, or every third day, depending on their schedules and depending on my schedules, and you know, the time differences and all that. But we do try to have a sustainable relationship that we both love, and every time we speak, we are just laughing and goofing around, and it's just an amazing moment. Still a little bit lonely that I don't get to see them, but I know that deep down this is just something that is temporary, and I'll get to be seeing them very soon. So a lot of things happened also, you know, like we had to move out of the apartment where we were living, and we had to figure out, do we give up the apartment, or do we stay with the apartment and rent it? We had 2 cars. We need to figure out, do we sell off the cars, which didn't really make sense. If you're going for 6 months, then you don't want to sell off the car, because you're going to come back and use it anyway. So eventually we settled on family members and couple and our friends taking the cars, which was like so grateful for. Then eventually came the part of deciding what to take to Uganda, what not to take, and that was a roller coaster of stuff, because in my case, it's just simply, I need my gadgets, I need my wires, I need my, you know, all those things that make a man's life function, you know. Whereas for my wife, it was more something like clothes, these clothes for the sun, this for going out, this for that, and we're gonna need a lot of what do you call it, antibiotics and antibodies and drugs and all these things. And it was like, okay, not the drugs, but you know, medication, just in case something went wrong. And then you had to go through the whole process of going for I'm forgetting the name, there's these injections that you go for before you travel. I just forget the name, but I guess a lot of people who have traveled, you know that where you go and you get all these antiviruses and stuff like that. You know, for example, like when you're coming to Uganda, they need you to have the yellow fever. I don't know what you call it, but it's like a yellow fever antiviral or something. But so we had to go for those. They cost a shitload of money. We had to go take, because I think I got around was it 5 injections, which probably is almost around 500 pounds or dollars or something like that. Then we came, that was for each person. So we got everything settled, and then we had to now prepare to come to Uganda eventually. Tickets we had already bought a long time ago. So the most difficult part was the moving part of, making sure that everything was under control when we left, and then also that we had a base where we could come back to, something you can come back to, not just come back and start from zero. So we were so grateful that we had a couple of friends out there who are willing to take up some of our property, keep some of our property for us, help us move, help us clean. Then one of our very good friends, Yolanda, she just helped us with traveling from Aarhus to Hamburg, because that's where we got our flight to Uganda from, which is around 6.5 hours drive. So we're really, really grateful for that. Yolanda, thank you so much. So we took the journey, drove, I think it was around we left home around 8 in the evening. By midnight we were in Hamburg, I think around 2 a.m. I can't remember, but 6. So from 8, do the math till I'm the worst person when it comes to math. So when I do numbers, and I know some of you will be like, wait, what did he say? 6 hours, 8, blah blah blah. But yeah, we left at 8, and 6 hours later we were in Hamburg. Simple, right? So eventually we arrived in Hamburg, took the flight the next day. And the worst part about that flight was just that I lost my headphones, and that was such a painful thing because I hate these things. I'm not a fan of these things. I hate them. So I think it's because they give me an irritation in my ears. So I prefer the own headphones. And but I lost my pair. It was a very nice pair. It was the whole noise cancelling, AGK. They were so good, but fortunately I am clumsy, and a lot of people will tell you that. So I lost those at the airport. So all through the journey I had to use these guys here, and that was painful. So I haven't bought new ones yet because I want something good, and right now that's not one of the things that I have as priority. But we arrived in Uganda, and we got picked up at the airport by one of my very good friends, Paul. Arrived home, and I think for me the best part about it was when I woke up the next morning. That was just it was for people who haven't been to Africa. There's something about the noise that we love, that when we travel abroad, it's one of the first things that we miss. The first time, every time you travel abroad, it becomes too silent, that it's sickening, that it's depressing. That silence is just so, it just doesn't sit well with a lot of Africans, because we are used to waking up in the morning and then you can hear the birds singing, the chicken, the dogs barking at night, and all these things that we crave and that we love. A lot of people don't understand that. People will leave Europe and come, and you're like, man, how do you even live with this? This is crazy. But I guess, it's the different worlds that we come from. If you come from a place where the nights and the days are quiet, you're gonna miss it. And then when you come to if you're African, you're gonna miss the waking up in the morning, where the sound of the birds singing is just one of the best sounds you can ever hear every morning. So the first morning when I woke up, I remember standing outside the balcony, and first of all, I stayed in bed and I just enjoyed that moment of the bird singing, because I was like, yep, I'm gonna hear that for the next 6 months. And then I went to the balcony, and standing at the balcony to just see the sun rays coming in, the beautiful morning, just the green, the nature around, the richness of nature. It was so beautiful.
Good morning, my neighbors!
And at that moment there, I was like, yeah, I'm gonna have this for the next 6 months. And it was such a humbling moment. Life here has been very good. The people are so friendly. We sometimes walk up the road and people are just asking us, hey, what's up, how are you, blah 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 blah. You're not buying pancakes, kabalagala. For Uganda, they know that word, kabalagala. And that's because my wife, she loves them, so she's always constantly buying a couple of those. So every time she passes and she doesn't have them, they're asking, oh, muzungu, kabalagala, and then we're just laughing. But the fact that, you know, people interact with you at that level. We've also been out with friends, we've been invited to people's homes, we've been just generally going out. And then I went to the village, and the food in the village, just it's, man, yeah, I love matoke. And yeah, let's have a moment of silence for matoke, because for me that's like the best food ever. I will eat matoke any form, any format, any way. And just going to the village, that was like one of my highlights. When I went to the village, and I knew from now on for these next 3 days, I'm just gonna knock myself out. And there's only, I think right now, there's probably, maybe I could count on my finger, maybe around like 7 people in the world who understand my love for matoke, and my mother is one of them. So she just made sure that matoke was there every time I wanted it. So I should never go hungry when there's matoke, and I should never go without when there's matoke. So she made sure we did that. We've been to the village twice now, to see friends and families and just enjoy the nature out there. It's such a beautiful place. The village, the nature in the village is also totally something else. But it's been amazing. So for YouTube, I have been trying to figure out, like, how do I do this? What type of YouTube channel do I want to create? How is it going to be? But you know, I'm still lying on the side where I'm saying that I want to introduce the Africa to the world in a way, through my lens, you know, through my own style. You know, style could be my personal experiences. It could be me speaking to other people about their experiences in Africa. It could be people who have never traveled to Africa, for example, people who have never traveled abroad. What do they think about the world out there? And then we also have the people who do not ever want to leave the African continent. Those are also interesting people that I would like to meet and just speak to them and see why do they think that way. Then also, you know, interview some people that I think are of importance in this society of ours, how they're impacting and creating change. It would be amazing to just speak to such people, individuals, just to share my experiences. So for YouTube, I'm just trying to figure out, like, where do we go? How do we go? What do we do? What is going to be my niche? But I just think that it's something that I can just create along the way. So for now, it's just me seated behind the camera and speaking and telling you what I went through yesterday. What did I go through there last week? So far, so good. Uganda has been a blessing. It's been amazing. I hope and pray that I continue to grow and continue to rediscover things that I didn't know about my country. Otherwise, besides that, just keep tuned in, keep subscribing. Let's keep interacting. And I hope very soon I'll be posting something else. I don't know what I'll be posting, but hey, fingers crossed. Just keep tuned in. Thank you so much. Love you all, and stay tuned in. Keep loving yourself, hug yourself, cuddle yourself, tap yourself on the shoulder every time you do something great, because if you can't love yourself, who's gonna love you? Adios.